And I have a question that relates to something you just said previously. I'm really enjoying this discussion. First of all, thank you. But I was really impressed with how you transitioned your mind and your thought patterns from I'm just a farm boy from Wisconsin to where you are today, inspiring men across the U.S. now across Canada to be better humans. What was that journey like for you and that awareness of your own self talk? And what advice could you give us on how we can manage it?
It never really stops. The journey always has different layers. It is a deep onion that might as well be as ginormous as like a pumpkin almost. It just keeps getting smaller. It never, like, no matter what I currently figure out, like, even I'll be fully vulnerable. One thing that it's like 2 weeks old, is I've realized I don't often have a healthy relationship with anger. Not that I yell, I actually don't feel like I can yell, that I don't have permission to yell because that anger wasn't something I wanted to be, or it wasn't something I could express when I grew up. So I never really got pissed at anybody. I've never thrown a punch. I've never been in a fight. I'm pretty sure, I can't 100% say it, but I don't think I've ever told anyone to F off. Like, these are things that people who have healthy ranges of emotion should eventually reach, where someone's pissing them off to the point where they tell them to F off. So this layer is always evolving. You always will find different facets of different thoughts coming up in different ways. And sometimes your mind will defeat something, and then it has a way to give it different lipstick, and then it tells you the same thing, and you're like, damn it, that came back again. And you just realize you just have to get really good at almost realizing it is a magic trick, that your mind wants you to stay in the cave. If you go all the way back to caveman days, your mind is wired for the cave. It likes the cave. Its temperature is always the same. So anything that requires you to leave the cave is a conscious thing where you're going to be going against what your mind is generally telling you. Within that same concept of Michael Singer, there's 3 things that I often talk about I'll ask you guys these questions. Are you in there? Think about that question. Are you in there? You don't have to answer, but just think about it. Then the next question is, how do you know you're in there? Where are you at in there? If I take away an arm, are you still in there? There's this thought that pops up to be like, you know what, I am in here. Then the most important question, what's it like in there? That question, what's it like in there, is the illusion that everything your mind does to do in the real world is to make it okay in there. Right now, it's not okay most times, and everything we do is to try to make it okay. But the illusion is nothing in the outside world, because it's just physics, will make it feel okay in there. You got to be okay in a world of chaos. That's kind of my go back to, on my days, my mindset is every day the universe gives me a million moments. It's my objective to take each moment that I get and try to make it a little bit better, and then move on to the next moment. Like, in its most simplistic way, that's how you change your life, is just take all the moments. And a simple one you could do is, if you're on a walk tonight and you see a piece of trash, think of it like this. The universe gave you a moment that had a piece of trash. It's not that the world is going to burn down and global warming is going to destroy us all, and that humanity has no hope. It's the universe gave you a moment. There's one piece of trash. You can make that one moment better and move on to the next moment. You don't have to get all of that extra garbage. So just focus on the moments in front of you and think about, how can I make this moment better, whether it be at work, in a meeting. It's not about the big idea. It's about the moments right in front of you with your kids. In the moment they're melting down, this moment, how can I make this moment a little bit better? Ultimately, how I got here, I drink a can of Stubborn every day. And I'm just really addicted to not let anything get to me, or not get to me, but like to figure this out. And I got out of the Marine Corps with the simple idea, before I had anything about it, was the Marine Corps was going to hold me back. And I felt like I was built for more. I lost track of that for 10 years, but I've been on a mission to really figure that out. One thing that I did back in 2017, one of the first blogging posts that I did, was I was struggling with self-worth. And so a friend of mine posted and said, you know what you should do, and write a letter to yourself in the context of a close friend telling you why you're worth it. So this is my own letter that I'm writing to myself, but it's in the third person. So I'm trying to give myself advice. And I start typing, and I start telling myself that, like, Ben, I've heard you say that you aren't worth it. And to hear you say that is like the craziest thought in the world, because no man is more worth it in my mind than you as our friendship. And to hear you say that is just mind boggling. And you think like all of these things in your early life, not playing baseball, sitting on the bench for 98 innings your sophomore year, being punched when you're in the 6th grade, never having friends or having girlfriends for that matter. All of these things are like baggage that are holding you back. And then I write the most profound thing to myself. Again, this is to myself from me. Early in life, people push you down so that later in life you'd be ready to pull people up. And that one line converted all of that pain to a purpose of, you know what? I know what it's like when I look at other people's faces because I can see that pain instantly. I can put words to those feelings because I felt those feelings. I'm a very empathic person. I cry when Frozen reached her full potential in Frozen 2. Like those moments of like power, even just yesterday, we watched The Greatest Showman. I cry at the end of that movie every time because he's living his purpose. He finds his way and he becomes a good dad at the very end. I cry my eyes out. My kids were like, why are you crying? And I didn't really explain it because it's complicated. But I'm a very expressive person. All of my life prepared me to help people understand how to find this new definition of living. And it now is my purpose. And it's that fertilizer. And the best healing process I have is doing what I'm doing here.